I've wanted to photograph foxes for a long time now, and this spring, I finally got the chance. Even better, it was a fox den full of pups. So, sit back and relax as we take a glimpse into the world of these curious little foxes. Alright, it's 5:53 a.m. It's pretty early, but maybe not early enough. We're off to see some foxes today. Now, this one's a little bit different from my usual adventures. The den was located on private property, which I had permission to access, but I still wanted to keep what I filmed to a minimum. I slowly made my way over to a tree, where I planned to set up a makeshift hide, right across from the den entrance. The tree gave me solid cover, so a simple camouflage net was enough to conceal my camera and any small movements I made. With everything set, I just had to sit back and be patient. Pretty soon, I could see movement inside the den, which was located just under the building itself. Before I knew it, the first pup emerged. Watching this pup take in the world with its curious eyes was amazing. However, the moment soon faded as the morning began to get busier. Alright, so it got really busy at the fox den, so I think only evenings are gonna work. Maybe early mornings on the weekends when it's closed. On my next outing, I arrived around 4:30 p.m., just after the area had closed up for the day. Being here early meant I could get set up without the foxes noticing me, and maybe I could even catch some early activity. But it may have been a little bit too early. Nothing happened until around 6 p.m. when I finally caught a glimpse of some movement inside the den. This time, some fallen branches had blocked the view, so unless the pups got more adventurous, I wasn't going to get any photos of them. I waited patiently, and eventually, a second pup emerged. However, they were both scared back into the den and didn't come back out until later when the sun had almost set. Sticking around was worth it though, because a third pup emerged, even if it was only for a brief moment. As the light faded, it was finally time to give them some space and head out for the evening. On my third visit, I was determined to finally capture some photos, because I was starting to realize I might not have many more opportunities to come out and see them. I quietly set up at 5:30 p.m. And, just like clockwork, the first pup emerged just after 6. Finally, it was time to try and capture some images. I wanted to keep my camera as low as possible to capture more intimate photos that really make you feel like you're truly seeing into the world of these pups. However, this did cause some issues with my photos later on. Many of them had this washed out green tint to them because I was shooting through some out of focus plants. Luckily though, I was able to save them with some editing magic. I wasn't really too worried though, because before I knew it, I was capturing some of the cutest moments with these pups. As the sun began to set, I noticed some of the pups had wandered off to my left, into the bushes. I never noticed them get by me because there's a second entrance to the den on the other side of the building. This gave me an idea though. Perhaps I could get some more natural scenes of the pups further down the yard, away from the buildings. That would be for the next outing though. For the rest of the evening, I just watched these little pups chase each other around the parking lot. Mom came out of nowhere with scraps to share with her pups. I was shocked at just how healthy she looked. Her fur seemed as if it had been recently brushed. Eventually, I think she caught wind of me and called the pups inside. For my final visit, I showed up around 5:30 p.m. This time, I planned to position myself further down the yard, hoping to capture the pups venturing out beyond the den. I'm using my backpack on the left side just to bulk it up a little bit so I can stay low with it. And then the foxes are either going to come out on the left or this right opening over here. My setup wasn't perfect, but I hoped it would be enough. I even had an extra piece of camouflage netting to cover my entire body because I was still feeling a little too exposed. After about an hour of waiting, I finally heard some activity. Mom was vocalizing somewhere out in the marsh. She kept up the calls for about 20 minutes, gradually getting closer. Finally, she stepped out into view at the bottom left side of my screen. At first, I didn't even notice her, but it was clear she could see me, or at least she could sense something was off. This was the moment I'd been waiting for, finally, a chance to capture a fox in a natural setting with some depth of field to really make the subject pop. But she showed no signs of calming down. I continued to capture photos, trying to keep as still and quiet as possible, but honestly, I was really excited. I'm not sure if I caused the initial vocalizations, but it became clear that I was the reason she continued to be so unsettled. So, once she headed back down into the marsh, I took that as a chance to quietly leave. And that's the story of how, for a very short time, I got to observe and photograph my very first fox den. Hopefully this is just the beginning of my journey with foxes. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.